But it's something that I actually want to talk about because I feel like it's like the question that people are too afraid to ask. If I could take you up and boom, boom, push you, boom, boom, tell me I'm the only one that you love. Life could be a dream, sweetheart. Hello everybody and welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for being here. Today I am filming my long distance / military relationship Q&A video. So if there's anybody that doesn't know me or know my situation, my fiance Alex is currently in the Marines, so he is stationed somewhere that's not here, and we've been long distance now for about 1.5 years, and that's, a lot of people probably do know that about me, but if there's anybody that doesn't, that's why I am making this video, because I am in a long distance relationship. So if you follow me on Instagram, you know that I posted a few weeks ago, like, just saying that I usually get a lot of questions on my Instagram of people just DMing me saying like all these different questions about either long distance or military relationships, and I kind of wanted to see if people would like a video, and a lot of people said yes, and also a lot of people asked questions. So if you did, thank you so much for supporting me and sending in your questions. I have them all on my phone and I'm gonna answer as many as I can today. Also, I did group some together because they were like very similar, so if I grouped yours together, I'm sorry about that, just trying to not make this video like 30 minutes long. But anyways, I think I'm gonna just jump right into it. Okay, so the first question is, how often do you Skype and how do you play games over Skype? So that's a good question. It usually depends on my work schedule and his work schedule. We don't get to Skype every night, obviously it just doesn't work out sometimes, but we do try to Skype as often as we can. So I would just probably say like a few times a week we'll Skype for a few hours or something like that. Obviously some weeks are like super crazy and it just doesn't happen, but so that's probably how much we do. And how do we play games over Skype? So there's a lot of fun things you can do over Skype, and probably the best game to play over Skype is probably Battleship. You could both play even if you're not together. If you don't know what I'm talking about, Battleship is like the game where you put your boats on the thing and then they have to like pick a grid number and then try to hit your boat. I don't know if people know what I'm talking about or not, but anyway, that's a really fun one. So actually in one of his care packages I sent him like the other half of the Battleship so that we could play together. We do that, but I mean it gets boring when we keep doing it. So other things like we play, we're so nerdy, but we play Uno, like the partner Uno on Facebook Messenger like all the time. I swear we're Uno addicts. That's a really fun one. Any like game like that. I mean, he doesn't have an iPhone, so we're not able to play iPhone games, unfortunately. But there's a lot of fun games on Facebook Messenger if you're like with someone that doesn't have an iPhone. Like Uno, like I said. So there's a lot of stuff to do. But that is, I hope that answers the question. Games, I've heard that Guess Who is a good one. We've never really done that, but there's a lot of board games and stuff you can play if you want to have fun. But that's basically it. So the next one is, how do you make care packages? So I'm actually going to, if I can figure it out, leave a video in the iCard of, I've made a few videos on like how I do my care packages and stuff, but I'll kind of just briefly explain it here. But I do suggest that you go watch the video because it will give you a lot of good information. So basically what I do is I send, about once a month I send him a care package, and I get the large flat rate boxes from the post office. You can just walk in and pick them up. You don't have to like pay for the box itself. You just pay for it when you go to ship it. The large flat rate ones are good because no matter how much stuff you put in it, it's going to be the same rate. I think it's like $18.90 or something. So I like stuff them full usually. They're super heavy because I want to get the most for my money. So yeah, so that's what I do. And then I usually just go to Hobby Lobby and get like papers and stickers and stuff, and like I usually have a theme that I decorate it with that fits the season or whatever. So that's like how I do it. But if you want more in-depth information, I actually have a video that shows me like constructing one. That's probably the one I'm going to leave in the iCard. So I suggest you go check that out because that will give you a lot more information. But that's just a very quick explanation of how I do my care packages. They're a lot of fun. So if you have someone that's away, I would suggest sending them one because it makes them feel really special too. Okay, so I think these two I paired together. So it just, I have written down, how do you have the patience and how do you not feel super lonely? I think maybe that might have been one, actually, now that I'm thinking about it. I'm sorry if I don't remember. So obviously patience is a huge part of long distance. You have to it's key. You have to have patience. I mean, it's gonna be hard and you're gonna really miss them, but you have to understand that you will see them soon. It helps when you know when you're gonna see them. If you don't know when you're gonna see them, I'm sorry, but hang in there. But you just have to have the patience to know, okay, maybe I'm not gonna see them for a few months, but it's gonna go by fast. It's gonna be okay. Patience is, if you don't have patience, I mean, patience is just totally essential with this. So I guess how do you, I think what was, let me see how the question was worded again. How do you have the patience? I think it just comes with it. Honestly, you just learn that you have to be patient. Like, there isn't just one moment where it's like, oh, I'm gonna switch it on and now I'm gonna be patient. Like, you just learn over time. Like, you just have, it just comes with it. And if you love someone, you'll be patient and you will wait. And then I guess the next one was, and how do you not feel super lonely? So obviously I still get days when I feel super lonely, and usually those days come when I'm not doing anything. So my biggest piece of advice for that is that you have to keep yourself busy. I involve myself a lot at my school or in my community. I try to do as many things that I can, because if I'm always doing something, then I'm not sitting at home and thinking about it, because it's when I have downtime to, you know, to think and to like lay in bed and actually think about, oh, he could be here with me right now. Like, that's when it hits the hardest. So keeping yourself busy is always going to help. And everyone that I talk to as well says the same thing. Like, keeping busy is what you need to do. So that's what I would say. Always involve yourself. It's okay to have downtime and it's okay to be sad. That's something I feel like people think like, oh, you can never just be sad. It's okay to lay in bed and cry and miss them. But doing that too much is just, you're just gonna feel super lonely all the time. So keep yourself busy. Okay, so the next question is, how did you get through boot camp? So I'm not totally familiar with like other branches, but I know for the Marines, the boot camp is about 3 months long, and it is all letters. They don't have their phones. I think they do sometimes get phone calls. In my situation, he didn't, so I didn't talk to him at all on the phone. It was only letters. Well, he did, I should say, he did call me when he got to the airport before he actually went to boot camp, but after that it was all letters. So that is very hard, and I think especially with like our generation, it was a really hard adjustment to, like, I mean, even when he was home, we wouldn't hang out like every single day, but we would at least text like every single day and stuff like that. So going from that to then all of a sudden just nothing was really hard. And honestly, the first like 2 or 3 weeks before I actually got the first letter, those were really brutal. I mean, I was really down. I remember just like my mom, she's so sweet, I love her. She took me out to Olive Garden because she just wanted like to take me out on a date because she knew I was sad. And I like literally cried the whole time, because I would just like look over and see other couples like on a date and just think like, I'm not gonna have that for so long. And it was, looking back now, it's like 3 months, like 3 months is nothing just because I'm like adjusted to it. But at the time it was really hard to wrap my head around. So I guess, how did I get through boot camp? I mean, I just took it week by week, honestly, because I can say this, once I started getting letters, it was like a night and day difference. It got, I'm not gonna say it got easy, but it got so much better to at least hear from him. And once I started getting letters, I would get them about once a week. I actually have my little box of treasures here. I'm not gonna show like addresses or anything, but I have my letters here. I don't think you guys can even see addresses, but I still read them from time to time because they're special, you know? Like, these are my love letters. That was so cheesy. But anyways, getting the letters was a huge, it really uplifted me. So all I can really say about that is just to take it week by week. Getting letters is definitely going to help, and hearing from them is definitely going to help too. And then once you do get there and you get to go to their graduation and see them, that was just, it made it all worth it. I know it probably sounds a little cliche, but like, it was worth the wait, because there was nothing better than seeing that. Mom, come say hi. Why?
Yes.
No, you don't. Okay, next question is, do you think distance has made you stronger, or has it kind of weakened your relationship? So 100,000,000,000% stronger. It has definitely made me stronger as a person, it has made our relationship so much stronger. I feel like some people think that like when you do long distance, it kind of like breaks you up in a sense. And I think like if your relationship isn't in the right spot, then yeah, distance isn't going to be good for you, and it's definitely going to cause problems, I think. But I think, you know, if your relationship is in a good spot, distance is just going to strengthen it, because two of the like most important components about a relationship, trust and communication, are so much stronger when you do long distance. So your communication has to be amazing, obviously, because you're not with them, so you have to let them know like what's going on in your life and what you're feeling and what you're thinking. And then trust, I mean, it's really not going to work out unless you trust them, because you're not with them. So you have to trust that they are like being faithful to you, they're being honest to you, and all of that stuff. So for sure in my relationship, like the trust and the communication is so much better, and it's strengthened, and it's awesome. Like those are the two things that I really say like are good about my relationship, is the communication and the trust, and I think distance has definitely helped with that. So definitely strengthened. And I feel like a lot of people that are in long distance could agree with that it has strengthened their relationship. Okay, so this next this next question was definitely asked as a joke, but it's something that I actually want to talk about, because I feel like it's like the question that people are too afraid to ask. And how do you keep the physical intimacy in your relationship when you're long distance? It's something I always wondered about, like before he left, like how is this all, you know, is this gonna suffer? How is this gonna work, I guess? And obviously I'm not gonna get into the details, but there are ways that you can keep intimacy in your relationship with long distance. It's different from couple to couple, so I think if that's something that's important to you, you should have that conversation with your partner and just say, you know, come up with some things. You might have to get a little creative, but I'm not gonna say anymore because I feel like I'm being so awkward, but there's ways. That's all I'm gonna say, is there are ways, and it's a conversation that you should have. Ooh, this next one is a good one. So it's, do you ever fight, and does distance make it better or worse? So I think in general, we don't really fight a ton, and I think it's because we kind of have this philosophy from the beginning that if there's something on our mind that bothers us or something, we talk about it right away. We put it out front right away, even if the other person doesn't really want to hear it. That way we kind of just are able to have a mature conversation about it before it blossoms into something bigger. So, you know, like if one of us does something that the other one doesn't really like, we say, hey, listen, right away, just address it. I didn't like this. This is, you know, and then we say, okay, what are we going to do from here? So I guess in general, we don't fight a ton. And I think, I don't really know if I can say distance makes it better or worse. I think it probably makes it worse in the sense that distance kind of sometimes can create more problems than you would have had if he was here. Like, for example, sometimes when you're messaging over text or versus talking in person, things can get interpreted differently. So that's a way I think distance might make things a little bit worse, but it also can make things better in a way too, because, you know, you have to talk about things. You can't just give them the silent treatment, you know what I mean? Because they're gonna be like, why aren't you talking to me all day? It's not like you're physically with them to, I don't know if this is making any sense, but basically I'm not really sure how to answer if it makes it better or worse. I think it's a little bit of both. So I hope that was a decent answer. But okay, so this is actually the last question of the video. I don't know how long this video is gonna be or whatever, but okay, so it says, I don't want to sound rude, but how do you have money to travel and visit him so often? I'm in college too and struggling with this. Don't worry, you don't sound rude at all. I would probably wonder the same thing, because I'm a college student. I live at home still, so that does save me money, but I'm still not like rolling in the dough. So basically, I try to do things to save money with traveling. I work, so each paycheck I take a specific amount of money out and just put it, I have a separate savings account called Travel. So I will, each time I get paid, I put a certain amount away and I budget for that. That way it adds up over time, and then I have enough, you know, for the cost of traveling. Also, some other things that you can do, definitely look for Airbnb. You're gonna find really cheap Airbnb. There are sometimes I found Airbnbs for $40 a night, which is like crazy good. I would try to find cheap, if you can stay with someone when you travel, that's obviously ideal, but not everybody can do it that, especially with a military relationship. If because you can't stay with them in their barracks. It's not allowed. So Airbnb, definitely look at Airbnb before you look at hotels. Also, this might not be for everybody, but I actually recently got an American Airlines credit card, and I spend it like on groceries and stuff because I earn miles then, and you can get either free flights or like a free one-way so that your flight is cheaper. Those are just a few tips. Otherwise, all I can say is that I would just budget for it. You know, if you are able to put away a certain amount from your paycheck, that way it'll build up over time. So then all of a sudden you'll have enough money maybe for a flight or something like that. So that way it doesn't seem too crazy. And also, usually when I travel, he will help with the cost of where we're staying since he's staying with me. So, you know, if your significant other is staying with you somewhere, have the conversation and say, hey, could we split, you know, the hotel cost or the Airbnb cost, because then that'll bring it down quite a bit for you. I think that's probably all I can really say about that. I mean, it's definitely hard, but in my mind, it's worth it for me to spend my money on that. So that's usually what I do. I spend money on traveling, but I think that's it. So I'm really sorry if you asked a question and I didn't get to it. I wrote down all of them on my phone, and I also tried to combine ones that were too similar or whatever. But thanks again, everybody, for supporting this and for submitting your questions, because this was a lot of fun for me to film. And I also hope that this helped anybody who's going through a distance or a military relationship or anything like that. You can always feel free to message me. I include my Instagram on my video, so you should be able to find it pretty easy. If you ever want advice on stuff, feel free to message me. I'm always here. I'm not like an expert, but I have been doing this for like a year and a half now, so I do have some good pointers on stuff. But I think that's about it, and I hope everybody has a wonderful day. It's Friday today, so I hope everybody has a good weekend, and I will see you in my next video.
I'm the only one that you know. Life could be a dream, sweetheart.